Hello and welcome. In our previous lecture, we talked about nonverbal communication and its major types like gestures, body stance, physical appearance, then space or distance, and visuals like visual communication. And we also look at certain examples of those types of nonverbal communication. So, in today's lecture, we are going to have a look at what communication barriers are, right? So communication barriers, before going to uh, talk about the barriers, as we talked about the communication process in our previous lectures, there we look at the communication process as a flow of information, right? So it started from one direction to the other direction. For example, it started at the level of the sender. The sender is responsible to start the flowing of the information towards the receiver. So whenever we have the idea of flowing something, if we place something in between the two poles, in between the sender and the receiver, that flow automatically stops, then striking the barrier, right? Or it even hinders the communication. It disrupts the flow of the information. So keeping in mind that analogy, now we can easily understand what communication barriers are and what are their major types. So defining the term communication barrier, so it is something that stops the free flow of communication, right? So anything that not that blocks the communication process, or even that hinders, right? It does not block 100%, but if it is causing disturbance, or it is a hindrance, even a minor one also, so it becomes a communication barrier then. Well, communication barriers may arise at three different levels, right? It may arise at the level of the sender, which is the first pole, and it may arise at the level of the receiver, which is the second pole, the target of the communication. So and it may also arise at the level of the medium, in between the two poles. So these are the three levels where these communication barriers may come and hinder the communication process. So the major types of communication barrier are socio-psychological barriers, then the physical barriers, and the semantic barriers. So take them one by one. Socio-psychological barriers, right? These are the barriers that are coming at the level of the sender or at the receiver, right? So it is not necessary for one person to have this barrier. This may also be the problem of a whole group of people, like a community or even a nation. So therefore we have this term socio-psychological. It is a blend of two terms, right? Social and psychological. So these problems may be with individuals. At the very same time, it may also be a problem of a broader group, like a community or many people at a time. So we have three subtypes in social psychological barrier. The very first one is attitudes and opinion. So the very first one is attitudes and opinion, right? So if any piece of information agrees with our attitudes and opinion, we tend to receive that information or that message favorably. Okay, we agree to the sender. We are prone to listen to the person uh, just because the message being delivered agrees with our opinion and point of view. On the very same time, if that piece of information or that message doesn't agree with our views and belief, so we don't react favorably. We then uh, lose our interest in the topic, and we also be hard on the sender also. right? So this way attitudes and opinions blur the process of communication, and it affects the whole process of communication in a negative way. Therefore it is one of the socio-psychological barriers. Second point is emotions. So again, this problem may be at the part of the sender, and it may also be on the part of the receiver also. So here emotions blur the message that the sender wants to send, and it may also cloud the mm, eh, uh, cloud the thinking of the receiver also. So if the sender is worried, excited, afraid, nervous, so his thinking will be clouded, and he will not be able to organize his message properly. So the same is on the part of the receiver. We can experience this if we are the receiver. So if we are afraid of something when some communication was made, so we might not be able to listen to the communication, listen to the message. We might not be able to uh, decode that message properly. So this barrier may arise at both the on the part of the sender and also at the part of the receiver. So this way communication is disrupted just because of emotions. Okay, the third type is closed mind. So closed mind people are very tough to communication with because they are never ready for some change. They are never ready to be relaxed in their point of view, because just because of the deep prejudices they have. So a person with a closed mind is very difficult to communicate with. Such people have a disposition that they know better than others. Okay, right. So then it becomes a challenge for the sender to communicate with such people. This type of barrier is again may also come on the part of the sender and also on the receiver. So any of them, if any one of them is a closed mind person, so the whole communication process collapse here. No communication process, no proper sending and receiving of message, and no proper encoding and decoding is there. So this way communication process is affected with social psychological barriers. So you may look at these illustrations. See, there are different types of socio-psychological barriers. So with these barriers, we are unable to send or receive messages. For example, in the very first um, picture, you can see the person is in a in an anger, and he is not willing to listen to others. So again, a non-verbal aspect here shows that the person is very angry. So we have to avoid this person whenever he is in this condition, and we can resume or continue our communication with them whenever they are calm. So likewise, another person is suffering from anxiety, right? So third person, the third image shows frustration. Likewise, the fourth image is on social status and social differences. So if someone is from the upper class and the other is from the lower class, there is a big difference between their thinking. Just because of their class differences, they have deep biases and prejudices towards each other. So in that situation, a communication process may not be that much fruitful. Okay, so the last image shows again the black and white concept. If racist people are in communication with someone, if they are the sender or the receiver, just because of their deep prejudices, this may affect the communication process, and it is a barrier in the communication process. Right, so considering the length of the video, I have to conclude today's video here. So in some other video I will cover the other two types of communication barriers. So until then, thank you. Bye.